Hi boys and girls, let's talk more about three-dimensional figures. So far we've learned the special names that each of the three-dimensional figures has, and I want you to be really careful that when you're talking about these shapes you call them by their special math name. For example, when you see a sphere, I want you to call it a sphere instead of calling it a ball. When you see a box, I want you to call it a rectangular prism or a cube if all the sides are the same size, instead of just calling it a box. So see if you can use these names of our three-dimensional figures when you're talking about different shapes at your house. Well, remember I told you we were going to learn some new vocabulary today, and it has to do with all of these three-dimensional figures. So let's get started. The first important word that we're going to learn is called a face. Now that's a little bit different than your face or my face. 3D figures have faces too, just not the same kind of face that you and I have. A face on a 3D figure is the part of that figure that's flat, or it might be called the side or the front or the top or the bottom, but it's the sides of a 3D figure. So you can see I have one circled here for you on this cube. This is a face, and this is a face, and this is a face, and there are three more faces that we can't see in this picture. But we'll look at some special pictures tomorrow that you'll be able to see all of the sides at once. Let's see what other words we need to learn. We need to learn about edges. Now we have to be super careful here because when we were talking about two-dimensional figures like squares and rectangles, we called those sides. And in 3D figures, they're called edges. And that's just this line where the two faces meet. So this is called an edge. This shape has a whole lot of edges. That's an edge. Here's another edge. Here's another edge and another one. They keep going. Here's another edge and an edge. Here's two more edges. And believe it or not, there are more on the other side of this shape that you can't see right now. Wonder if there are more words we need to learn. Oh yeah, this is a big one, guys. Vertex. Now this is another one you have to be super careful with. When we were learning about 2D figures, like triangles and squares and all of those shapes, we called these corners. But when we're talking about a 3D shape, it's called a vertex. Or if we're talking about more than one vertex, it's called vertices. Can you say that with me? Vertices. Vertices, that's right. So a vertex is one, and vertices is when we're talking about more than one. So a vertex is where three or more edges meet. So this is a vertex because look, 1, 2, 3 edges meet right here, and that's called a vertex. Look, here's another one because 1, 2, 3 edges meet right here. That's called a vertex. So it's a little hard to tell on this picture why this can be called a vertex because I only see 2 edges meeting here, and this says 3 or more. So I have a special kind of picture to show you that will let you see the other side of this shape also. So here's another cube, and if we look at it, these dotted lines show us the back of the cube so that we can see all the sides of the cube at once. So let's see if we can use some of what we learned today with this cube. Let's start by figuring out how many faces does this cube have? Well, it has one on the top and one on the bottom. That's 1 and 2. Now let's think about it. This is 3. This one right here that's facing us could be the third face. And this side could be the fourth. But do you think we've counted them all yet? Good job, we haven't. See this one back here on the side? Let me shade it in for you and see if that would help. See this side? Look at that. That's another one. So that would be 5. Now, do you think we have them all? Good catch. There's one more. Let me shade it a different color for you. Do you see this one back here? Yeah, that's the 6th one. This cube has 6 faces. Now that I've erased all that work that we did to figure out the faces, let's talk about edges and see how many edges do we think that this cube has. Let's draw them and count them as we go. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm tracing over each one as I go, so I know I've already counted it. So that's 4. Here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do you think I have them all yet? Good job, I don't. I've missed a couple. Remember, I have to count those that are the back of the shape too. Here's 10, 11, 12. Wow, a cube has 12 edges. We have one more thing that I'd like to count with you together. That's vertices. Do you remember what the vertices are? That's the place where 3 edges meet, 3 or more edges meet. And in our case, we've got a lot of them. So let's see if we can figure out how many. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't forget this back corner. 6, 7, 8 vertices. That's a lot. So we found on a cube there are 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices.